Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.
Well, my take is that Nigeria, one of the best countries in the world. You will not know except you have traveled. When you travel, you will now know. It's true that Nigerian unity has always been challenged. And those of us who were lucky or unlucky to have experienced the Nigerian Civil War, I would say that after the war, I think we are better informed. Because somebody like me, before the war, I thought that once you cross the River Benue, every human being above is an Hausa man. But that's wrong. And I thank God for the NYSC. I think the establishment of that organization has made many people to be better informed than now. Yes, it's true that we're having some challenges, but I always tell people that these are part of development of every nation. Even US, all these developed countries, one time or the other, they had challenges.
And are continuing to have challenges.
We cannot give up. All we need to do is to continue to remain focused, and our leaders to press it on we the subjects, on the need for us to continue to value our unity. It is better for us to be together. There are many things in this country that other countries of the world aspire or wish they have. And I tell people that truly, having traveled all over this country except 2 states, Nigeria has so many things that we have to cherish.
We'll have to make you have a taste of these 2 states.
Yes.
To complete the 36.
Well, I will. I will definitely go to these 2 states when things normalize. And I believe that they will be normalized in no distant time.
Now, attacking the root causes of the reasons for the disunity is important. A lot of people point at injustice as being behind it. But if that is the case, then we need to uproot it right from deep down.
Yes. When you talk about injustice, all these things boil down on 2 major things: lack of education, coupled with Nigerian politics. I'm not a politician, but I've studied the politics of Nigeria. I think our politicians are yet to be matured enough. What do I mean? You will see in other climes, people are playing politics not to see it as a do or die. In Nigerian politics, it's do or die. And the way I see it, possibly, people take politics as a profession and not for opportunity for them to go and, serve. And that's why it is like this. But if it is a situation where it's an opportunity to go and serve, I do not see why it should be a do or die thing. But I think with time, with the evolution of our political system, definitely we'll get to that stage where people will volunteer to serve the people. And all these bickerings, all these bringing tribalism, favoritism, and what have you, you just find out that there is no need for that.
Now, several measures, steps were taken, several programs, several policies, several institutions were created and are being implemented to really deepen our unity, solidify it as it were. One of them is the NYSC, but recently some people believe it has completely outlived its usefulness. There's a bill seeking to amend the Constitution in the National Assembly to get rid of the NYSC scheme. How will you react to that?
No. It's unfortunate that people do not take time to study a system before they comment or before they make use of it. And what I found out in when I was serving, I found out that people who come to NYSC to ask for one favor or the other, when they do not get it, they hammer NYSC. So some will say, get rid of it. It's either they come to ask you to give them a certificate they are not qualified for, or they ask for one favor or the other. And when you do not do it, that's that. The NYSC is the best thing that has happened to Nigeria. Not because I worked in NYSC. I was privileged to visit General Yakubu Gowon.
The man that started it all?
Yes, in Lagos when I was the state coordinator. And I just turned to him and I said, Your Excellency, what made you to think about the establishment of NYSC? He said his vision was to use the NYSC to make sure that he eradicates illiteracy in Nigeria. And I looked at it. That's a man with vision. When people talk about the NYSC, unfortunately, they do not read the act establishing it. The NYSC is part of the Constitution, going from Section 315, subsection 5.
Not an act of parliament.
No,
but
not
enshrined in our Constitution.
No, it is a constitutional project.
And whatever finds its way into the Constitution is always difficult to get rid of, such as the Land Use Act, or even amend.
You can only touch it by going to Section 9 of the Constitution. I remember when we had the unfortunate crisis in Bauchi where our core members were targeted and killed in 2011.
That's the post-election.
Yes. My distinguished senator then was in NTA and was talking about the same thing. NYSC, we are going to scrap it and everything. I merely sent a text to him. I said, my distinguished, please read Section 315 of the Constitution. It will take you to Section 9 so that you know what you are doing. But be that as it may.
Can you share those sections with us?
Yes. If you go to Section 319 of the 1999 Constitution, subsection 5, it will tell you that for you to amend any of the there are three bodies mentioned in that act, in that section: the NYSC, the Land Use Act, and then the National Population Commission. And so that for you to amend anything there, it has to take the parliamentary method of constitutional amendment. And if you read it, you find out that it's not all that. And that shows you the vision of our leaders. Now, the NYSC is not a federal government project. Unfortunately, that is the perception outside. The NYSC is a national project. And that is why when you read the act, you have the rule of the federal government, you have the rule of the state government, you have the rule of the local government. If you read Section 6 up to Section 8 of the NYSC Act, it tells you the roles of the states, the roles of the local government. And is there. So now the person who is asking that the NYSC should be scrapped gave 3 reasons why they should be scrapped. Number 1, he said that because of the insecurity and core members are being killed. That's a misinformation. Because of the insecurity in the country, core members are not targeted. This is
but some of them are fall victims?
No, they have not had it. That's why the operators of the scheme are always alert to make sure that they liaise with all the security agencies. In everywhere the core members are, they are well protected. However, you don't cut off your head.
Except the 2011 incident.
That's an exceptional case. And the one that happened in River State. But that was a lone case. It was not.
That was during an election.
During an election, okay? During the rerun. And so, but you don't cut off your head because you have a malaria. I mean, you have a headache, all right? And so, that in the first instance was a misinformation. Secondly,
maybe before we go to the second one, perhaps he was also looking at the fact that, especially in many parts of the country where security has really deteriorated, core members sometimes are abducted and all that. holistic security challenges facing these young Nigerians?
Very, 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 that may be true. Even myself, at a point in time, I was abducted. Okay? There are even some other people who were abducted in their houses. All right? Right in their houses. So, now what I'm trying to say is a national issue, and it is part of the evolution of this country, what we are going to see. This insecurity you have is not going to be a permanent thing. There was a time kidnapping was predominant in Abia, and some of the core members there were involved, but they were rescued. Now today, you don't talk about kidnapping now. It's not the major issue you have there. So what I'm trying to say is that you have an issue that comes up should not make you to take extreme decision, like going to say scrap NYSC, and giving that impression that core members, because of the security, you get what I'm saying? If it has been something that is very, very predominant, but the operators of the NYSC, even while I was there, we collaborated effectively with security agencies that the core members are given priority over every other thing.
What nature of priority? Because I recall former President Obasanjo says, former President Jonathan, it was part of his campaign slogan then, that his blood is not worth, his ambition is not worth more than the blood of any. Yeah. That's a single Nigerian.
Yeah.
Can we afford to lose a 7 core member?
No. Not even, no. Because not even a core member, not even somebody who is a core member, even a graduate, you are someone who just graduated.
Or indeed any Nigerian.
Or anybody. Nobody prays that anybody should die. Nobody. Because we are all important, and God has endowed that person with some gifts which he's supposed to use in the development of this nation. And so, nobody should die. But what I'm trying to say is that giving security as a major reason why NYSC should be scrapped and saying that because of insecurity, I don't think that is fair, because that was not correct.
Okay, moving on to the second.
The second thing that he said, core members are being posted to their geopolitical zone as one of the reasons. I will want people to read the NYSC Act. There is nowhere that the NYSC Act said people should not be posted to their geopolitical zone. It's not there. What Section 1, subsection 4 said, he said, as far as is possible, core members should be posted to states other than theirs. And I want us to look at the underlying word. As far as is possible, core members are to be posted to states other than theirs. And so, the NYSC is doing the correct thing. They do not post any core member to their states of origin, except, that's where the underlying word came, as far as is possible. So
someone from Lagos State can serve in neighboring Ogun State?
That's it.
But where preponderance becomes the case?
Yeah, now, when a core member is sick, where a core member is married, the NYSC gives concession to that. Now, when somebody is saying that you do not post core members to the geopolitical zone, that's wrong. If I take South-South, for instance, are we saying that posting a core member from Cross River to Delta is wrong? Post a core member from Cross River to Rivers is wrong? Amechi, I want to believe you are from Anambra. I know that if an Ebonyi man comes here to speak his language,
his dialect,
you will find it very difficult to understand. You may find it very difficult to understand. The same thing, if you go to Southwest, if somebody who is from Ogun State and is an Ijebu man speaks his language, it's difficult for somebody maybe from Eba to understand. So what I'm trying to say is that it is wrong to say that the NYSC is posting core members to their geopolitical zone. So
it's covered by law.
It's covered by law.
But
That's what I'm saying.
if you consider the
It's
real
covered by law.
purpose for the establishment, of what we have seen in the past, where you say you crossed the River Benue when you were 7. Same thing with myself. Yeah. Got to northern Nigeria for the first time because of NYSC, where preponderance presently, we see a situation where you are posted to somewhere around. Will it not defeat the aim? Perhaps that's the reasoning.
It will not, but that's not to say that the NYSC is not posting people to far places. That's not what I'm saying. I'm only trying to buttress the fact that what the young man said, posting people to their geopolitical zone, it's not a crime, it's not an offense by NYSC. If NYSC is doing that, which in some cases they are doing that, I don't see anything wrong in that.
But it could be better when we are flung far away from each other.
Yes, in also doing that, the law says that corps members should be equitably distributed in all states. So it is not just only that. There are other factors that you have to put into consideration when you are doing your deployment. And as far as I know, the NYSC management is complying with that. So now the third aspect that he mentioned, he said that look, public and private sectors, they take on corps members, and at the end of the service they push them out. Oh yeah, but he forgot. The NYSC is a national service. That's number one. At the same time, not every employer, just like you get to government. Government cannot employ everybody. That is why the NYSC brought the skill acquisition program, which they are doing currently. And many corps members have embraced it. And I want to say that if the NYSC is given all the necessary tools, they will make sure that these corps members become self-employed. And that's the only way they can also meet part of the constitutional required objective of NYSC, which means to accelerate the growth of the national economy.
Perhaps Abiante may be looking at the numbers again. We readily see in the past, and I'm a beneficiary of it. I served in this organization several years back, and I was retained. We are hearing and getting to see less of this these days. Perhaps this may have spurred him to say, if they can use and dump like we use in local parlance to their advantage, and with the number of unemployed people increasing, then it becomes a problem that we must tackle. Though he thinks the way to tackle it is to expunge NYSC from the Constitution.
When you expunge the NYSC, you have not solved the problem of unemployment. In fact, you have created more problems. Within the space of time that these corps members are going to stay, it is a period they develop themselves. It is a period to think of what do I do after NYSC. And that's why I say that the management of NYSC looked at this and decided to introduce the skill acquisition program, which, if properly supported, and this is where I agree with the present DG. When I read in the newspaper, I saw the founder of the scheme and talked about NYSC Trust Fund. With those trust funds, people who have learned one skill or the other could now be given skill money, seed money to start. And that corps member who has started doing his business will be in the position to employ 1 or 2 people, thereby reducing employment.
I hope this works, because I've taken out a study of interventionist organizations that create just ND and all of that. And what I get to see is that many of these seed money, which are meant to be repaid, are never paid back. No. So I hope this one becomes different, or it will end up like
no. If you interrogate with the management of NYSC or anybody over there, people have been repaying, even though there are period of moratorium. You know, these are people who are just started. Liaising, they have program with CBN, with Bank of Industries that take them on, and those who have accepted, a good number of them are doing well. I have corps members who served under me. They never went into government employment. They're on their own.
Set up. That's the ideal.
Yes.
Okay, time for us to go on a break. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll take a look at more measures, policies, and programs that will solidify Nigeria's unity.
Nigeria of our dream. The Nigeria we need is the united, indissoluble, and cohesive Nigeria which guarantees equity, fairness, justice, and prosperity for its citizens. That is our focus on people, politics, and power. It is fresh, insightful, impactful. It's a must-watch. People, politics, and power on AIT.
So much for staying with us. Anthony Ani is a retired director of NYSC and is taking a look at Nigeria's foremost, for me, challenge now. The biggest problem for the country, remaining one, not just one, but united. You can't be one, but the absence of unity, the absence of peace makes it fragile. How do we resolve this? Is our objective here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
for
much.
staying with us.
Thank you.
Apart from the NYSC, so many other measures, so many of them. Can we achieve unity by this way? Can we manufacture it as it were? Or can we evolve it? Some other countries have done it. How would you recommend that we achieve this beyond these programs and institutions that are put in place?
Amechi, I want to thank you. Let me tell you, when I was doing my service here, I was posted to Kano State. That was in 2007. And Kano just came out from crisis. And my family, my entire family, they all went into tears, crying and saying, why Kano? And I said, well, God has sent me there. But while I was going, I tried to find out. I asked myself, why is it that if there is a crisis, you have killings and what have you? The notion, when people have, they say, oh, they say when you kill, if you're a Muslim, if you kill somebody, you have 10 virgins in heaven and all the rest. I went to the market and I bought the English Quran. I'm a Catholic. I started reading it. To my greatest surprise, I didn't see such a thing.
So it's mere fabrication.
Mere fabrication. And you know, to my greatest surprise, the Quran, most of the things in the Quran were in the Old Testament. And I was taken aback. I came there and I said, what is the problem? At the orientation camp, we didn't have a permanent orientation camp then. We were in Ongogo, a temporary camp. The corps members will be eating. You see the Amajeris, 10. We'll be waiting for crumbs for the corps member to finish. Now, out of pity, when the corps member gives it to the small one, the big one will knock the small one and carry the food. Then, each time I'm going, even in the dry season when there is cold, you see these Amajeris sleeping outside shops.
In the open?
Yes. And I said, now I know the problem. The problem is this: lack of education. If we want to solve the problem of Nigeria, we must give mass education. That is why, if you go to the Southwest, you will see two brothers. One is a Muslim, one is a Christian.
And there are no conflicts.
No conflict. When it is time for Christmas, they are there. When it is time for Muslim Ilayah festival, they are there enjoying. Why? They were educated. And that's why anybody who sees the statue of Awolowo, you see as if he has seen God. Mass education.
Free, not just mass free.
Then I went to Dubai. When I went to Dubai, I had the greatest shock in my life. I went to church. Here was a mosque. Here was a church. You know, I couldn't believe it. But if it is here, they say, no, you can't bring it. Lack of education.
And the lack of education throws up illiterate citizens who can be easily, wrongly indoctrinated. Like the instance you mentioned.
As a Catholic, when I was small, we'll go to church. Then it was Latin. The priest we sing Latin, after everything, Dominus, we finished. When I come and I ask my mom, what did the priest say? He said, I don't know.
Just answer amen.
So, yes, and I think the Catholic Church realized it. That is why today, all churches, if you are from the north, you use their local language, everybody. So you can see, I found out that people merely recite the Quran because it's written in Arabic. Some don't even understand it. So that's why I say lack of education, principally. That's number one. Number two, our politicians need to be educated. We need to be educated. And education is not only by going to class. They should be in the position to travel. When you travel, you will now be better informed. You don't sit down in your state and you are concocting stories that will incite people. Number three, people should make use of this NYSC now, more than ever before.
Even in these challenges?
Even in these challenges, yes. You make
I don't
use
know
of
how
it.
many people that will want to hit
I am
this
telling you,
advice.
no, you see, that is the problem. Let me tell you. When the crisis in Borno started, the NYSC was put in, what do we do? Do we post people there or not? Core members said, this is where we are going. They refused to go.
Some of them.
Yes.
Because I know some of us also took flight.
No, you know, some never went there. Their parents never asked them to go. But they would say, no, this is where I want to go. That's the thing about these core members. All right? Even when they were talking about, let me tell you.
After all, they are reservists by law.
No,
Army reservists.
well, you see, even when that incident happened in Bauchi, okay? So we were thinking that the coppers won't go. They say what? There are areas where they had.
They braced.
They went there. I went to Bauchi to supervise. I went as far as Adamawa during the election. So you could see the determination of these core members. You need to see where these core members are serving. I have gone to Bayelsa, 2.5 hours on speedboat. And when I got to that place, I saw the core members. They were shocked when they saw me. Then I asked them, where do you get the water you drink? They pointed to the river. I said, there. We collect it, put alum there. I said,
Purify it.
that is national service. That is national service. So I want this. I want the Nigerian states. When I mean the Nigerian state, federal government, states, local government.
All levels of government.
All levels of government. As enshrined in the Constitution, time to wake up. Nigeria can only develop when you use these core members. Now we're talking about unemployment. You know, unemployment can only be resolved when you have small businesses that thrive.
SMEs.
Yes. That's the only way to turn around it. And you can only use these core members after you have given, because the truth of it is that government cannot employ everybody.
Absolutely. Let me take you up on this.
Yeah.
Some believe the preaching and some say rhetorics for unity of Nigeria is mere lip service. That deep down, even the constitution that talks about state of origin, talks about federal character, by implication is promoting disunity. Attempts in the past to replace state of origin with place of state of residence didn't sail through. That perhaps if we take that step, where you find yourself, where you were born, becomes your state of origin. Like we see in the US, we take pregnant women to the United States just to procure the US passport. But when we come home, we resist with the last drop of our blood other Nigerians from enjoying indigenship status. That we are paying lip service to unity of the country.
Amechi, development does not start one day. When people quote America, America is 200 and something years. All right? There was a time in America, if you're a black man, you are shot dead. Even now anyway, but then it was predominant then.
You are restricted in use of public facilities.
So development, it evolves. it evolves.
So we're evolving?
Yeah, we're evolving. Now we're seeing.
As quickly as we should?
No. Hold on, you don't
because
need to.
Evolving could mean crawl, like a snail speed.
You see, there's something I need to let you know. When you have a baby, you're born a baby today. It doesn't stand up and start running. It takes time. As we evolve, this constitution that we're using will be changed. As we evolve, those who say no to a particular thing, we start seeing the realities and say yes. So all we need, just like I keep saying, education. Education. If people are educated. I told you that before the war, anybody from, once you cross River Niger or River Benue, I said,
once you cross the Obola,
you know, this person are all houses. But education had to teach me that you have Idomas, you have thieves, you have, different tribes. You call them houses, they get up and say, no, I'm not. Are you getting what I'm saying? So it is through education. And that is why I keep on harping on, if we can use these core members, we will reach out. There are places your teachers don't go. The core members are there. The core members are there.
Another issue is the cost. I just was reading a report that Nigeria spends more than between 80 to 90% of its revenue on debt servicing. You know the implications? Almost all we generate, we use it to service debt.
Yeah.
Now, what happens to recurrent expenditure, payment of salaries? How do we fund it?
You see,
what happens to overhead? How do we fund it? What happens to capital aspects of our budget? How do we fund it? Borrowings, both local and international. At a time, we are talking of reducing the size of government, cutting wastages. How can some institutions such as the NYSC continue to function? Should we not sacrifice it to reduce costs? Should we look at alternative funding?
Good. That is why the NYSC, I am recommending, in line with what the DG I read in the newspaper, it is time for NYSC to have the NYSC Trust Fund that will be managed by some successful people in our society. Somebody like Tony Elumelu, I'm sure he served. Jim Ovier. These are people that you bring together and you have a fund like that. They can manage it effectively.
That's private sector being part of the
yeah, of course it's there. It's part of this thing. It's part of this thing in the act. Being, you have people that you have seen what they have done. Nigerians trust them and everything to manage these funds that we are talking about.
Where will the funds come from?
The funds could come from taxes. You have situation where your banks are declaring 15 billion is in profit and what have you. What is wrong in keeping part of it so that our youths will be in a position to have something to do?
Will it not overburden the corporate taxpayers already contributing to, apart from VAT and corporate tax, also contributing to TET fund? Will it not be too much, too many?
It will not be too much when you consider the population. It is only when you make it heavy. It is only when you make it heavy. When people talk about revenue generation in Nigeria, I keep laughing. In my days when I was in the university, one lecturer came in and told us that Nigerian oil will dry up one day. We laughed. I say, what is this man talking about? We dry up one day. It was a figurative statement. Today, has it not dried up? Let me tell you.
It's still flowing, but losing value.
No, that's what I mean.
Losing value, and the date, the actual date is now clearer to us. Some are projecting next 25
when
years.
you have something that people are no longer demanding, that thing has dried up. What are you going to do? So there are alternatives. Let me tell you, the truth of it is that there is money in this country. All we need is to put the right laws and implement them. I give you one example. Go and stand at the traffic light. You imagine how much you collect if only people will respect that traffic, or we
Disobey
the traffic light, which you know is there. So it depends on who, okay, is managing what and what. So I still believe, it is my conviction, because the youths, they are the leaders of tomorrow. They are the ones that can transform anything you are talking about.
if we give them the chance.
Yes.
And if they agree to step up.
No, they will agree, because they are no alternative. They are no alternative. So, but why not give them that opening first? Give them that chance and see. And I'm sure that if you go to NYSC now, you'll be shocked and surprised at some of the things that those I'm telling you, that Bank of Industry and CBN, they are financing now, what they are doing out there. You'll be shocked. So, as many as we can encourage, this is the time. This is the time. Yes.
Multiple taxation is an issue. I still want to take you up on that. Multiple taxation. Across the world, governments are cutting taxes to encourage businesses because they believe once businesses are given tax incentives, they will expand production and create more jobs, and in the process. How do we balance with this fund you're advocating? Because it will come with another bureaucracy.
No, it will not
further depleting the proceeds.
It will not come with any bureaucracy.
Because Petroleum Equalization Fund has a big bureaucracy. Third fund has a big bureaucracy. There's no fund that does not come with
No. You see, go and check all these things you have mentioned there. Do you see real experts that you have in that place? People who have managed things, people who have turned around the economy in what we are talking about. I am talking about, this is my own personal opinion, that if you bring these people I have mentioned from the private sector, you won't see any bureaucracy. Now, when you talk about taxes, the reason why Nigerians are so sad about taxes is that they are not seeing what you are using it for. I tell you what, if you put Abuja to Enugu, for instance, dualize it, put it there, and tell Julius Berger, I give you this, put it on concession.
Multiple lane.
And tell them, oh yeah, you manage this thing, collect your money. If that road is okay, people will prefer to pay 500 naira or 1,000
in tax.
Yeah, rather than when I drive my car from here to Enugu, I go to a mechanic and spend 20,000. So
the Federal Minister of Works is in that process now. They have identified some roads, key
honestly speaking,
roads to
you go to America, it's there. But you know, in Nigeria, it's just like we're talking about oil subsidy. Remove oil subsidy since 2012. Remove it. Now it's a burden. Remove this thing. And people are saying, no, labor, we can't, no. No. You see, in economics, yes, at the initial stage, there will be hardship. But I tell you, Ameji, try and go to toilets. If you go there, sit on this thing, and you keep laughing, you won't come out. You need to frown your face.
And apply pressure.
Yes, before you can ease yourself and come out. We need to go through that.
Well, the problem is in the interim, because it's always this Western economic neoliberal idea that the private sector will expand and it will trickle down. Most times it doesn't trickle down. No. They'll promise that over time this will happen. In the interim, Nigeria is poverty capital of the world. World Bank told us 7.5 million people pushed into poverty. The president claims he brought out 10.5. If you remove all these subsidies and all that, increasing tariff for electricity. And World Bank says the reason why 7.5 million went into poverty is inflation. When prices are out of the reach of many Nigerians, that means more people will be driven into poverty. And what will be their fate? How can they exist in this country?
Good analogy. But I want to tell you that the reason why these things, that privatization and what have you that you have in Nigeria didn't work, is that a good number of them were done with self-interest. That's the problem in management. When you do things with self-interest, that's the result you get.
Without national interest.
In any organization, if you come here now in this your work organization, is what is your interest that you are putting here? This organization will collapse. So what I'm trying to say is that this is the time we need nationalists. This is the time we need patriotists.
And in short supply, that's the problem.
No. The point is that there are many out there, but it's only the process of selecting them.
I agree with you.
Good.
We have to make sure the political recruitment processes, especially through elections, are reforms in such a way that majority of citizens come out to vote and the right persons are selected.
When you ask somebody who is going to do governorship, who wants to be governor, to go and bring 20 million, what are you are implying that thing will fail.
That's for a start.